Let's talk about the innovative use of technology in election administration. You may know that Kaduna State in the northwest is leading the way in Nigeria. It was the first state in the country to adopt electronic voting in 2018, and it's used it again for local government elections at the weekend. And it's not just the use of smart card readers that we're talking about here. It's citizens actually voting on a machine that was developed specifically for that purpose. The electronic voting machines used in 2018 have been upgraded for use in 2021. So how have they helped to improve efficiency and reduce the problems and errors associated with non-electronic systems?
The whole process takes less than 15 seconds. So it's very quick, very efficient, and you see your ballot paper being printed so that the ballot papers can be counted in case the tally electronically by the voting machine is not agreeable to all the parties. So we are very happy with the improvements, and we are pleased that this time it will be extremely difficult for anyone to rig these elections. The machines also transmit the results at the end of the voting to a server, as well as a backup on a USB, as well as printed copies for all the parties, all the security agencies. So it's very difficult to alter anything.
Nasser El-Rufai there, the governor of Kaduna State. Well, for more on this, let's cross to Kaduna now and speak with Muyiwa Adekeye, spokesman for the governor of Kaduna State. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. So beyond making it into the history books, what difference has electronic voting made to the administration of ballots in Kaduna State?
Good evening, Charles. Thank you for having me on your program. I note that you've commented on the historic nature of electronic voting in Kaduna State being done for the second time. The difference is that electronic voting technology was adopted precisely to protect election integrity and promote transparency. So we've seen, just as in 2018, okay, we've seen a state government, okay, losing elections in some constituencies and winning in others, ensuring that the results declared by the election management body reflect the actual preferences that the voters expressed at the ballot box. So the investment in technology is not for showing off, it is to ensure that the votes cast by the citizens matter, that everybody who is elected knows that he or she has earned a free and fair mandate, that these are not confected figures, these are not results secured by unlawful tactics, but these are transparently secured mandates. We have insisted since 2015 that at our own level as a subnational, we must make a contribution to deepening democracy by ensuring that whoever chooses to cast their votes in elections organized by the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission would know that the results will reflect the preferences that they have expressed.
Well, it's the second time that Kaduna State is deploying the use of technology in an election. The first was in 2018, and at the time, there were issues around the use of those machines. Things talk about multiple voting and all the rest of it. I mean, what improvements did you make to the system this time?
Well, in 2018, we had a significant gap based on the non-availability of INEC's card register, which made accreditation difficult. But in 2021, we've tried to resolve those gaps by ensuring that no voting card can be used more than once. That is the innovation that has been introduced, and we think that this has been helpful across the board.
But there were a lot of problems this time again, weren't they? I mean, there were, I mean, beyond the actual voting process, I mean, there were repeated postponements, elections in a number of local governments had to be put off because of security concerns. There were also the usual logistical problems. There were allegations that voting machines were snatched in some areas, staff were assaulted. So when you look at the overall conduct of the election, it's not that dramatically different from the other lot, is it?
I wish to respectfully disagree with you. There has been a dramatic difference. The instances of political misconduct and illegal actions say much about the persistence in our political culture of attitudes that we must leave behind if our country as a whole is to progress. But overall, across the 19 local government areas where elections were conducted, the citizens largely conducted themselves in a peaceful and orderly manner. And that is reflected all around. Fair-minded observers have commented on the ease of voting. They've commented on the transparency of the results that have been declared. And regarding the 4 local government areas where the elections were postponed for security reasons, we think that while it is extremely important to ensure that democracy at the local level is based on governance by elected officials, we must ensure that the votes to elect those officials must be held in conditions that guarantee the safety both of the voters and the officials that will conduct the elections, as well as the security agencies that would provide a safe canopy for everybody to establish their preference. So no election was postponed or cancelled after it ought to have started. No, the 4 local governments that were identified, the elections were postponed in those local governments well before the 4th September 2021 voting day. And in the 19 local government areas where elections were conducted, yeah, there were a few issues with logistics, but on the whole, it has been a satisfactory result. Just like in 2018, ordinary people in Kaduna State showed that technology is easily embraced. Most people have access to phones, and they've been able to easily use the electronic voting machine because it is not complex. Everybody can cast their vote for chairmanship and councillor in their polling unit in less than 10 seconds.
Well, I mean, to be fair, congratulations on doing that and on taking electronic voting forward. And I hope the rest of the country are watching what's happened in Kaduna State and can learn something from it, especially as 2023 approaches. But let's talk about the other issue that led to the postponement of the elections in some local governments. There was talk about, you know, the security in those places. You've got the Kaduna Economic Investment Summit taking place later this month. There are concerns that it could be affected or disrupted by security. What assurances can you give? And we've got about a minute.
Well, this Kaduna Economic and Investment Summit, Carnival 6.0, is the 6th edition that we're going to be holding on the 23rd and 24th of this month. We've held 5 previous editions of it. This summit has helped Kaduna State to attract more than $2.8 billion, you know, in private, local, and foreign investments into the state. We have not hidden the challenges of security, but we have shown that this is a business-friendly state. We are open for business, and investors accept our credentials. That's why we were selected in World Bank ranking as the best place for doing business in Nigeria. World Bank Doing Business Report subnational ranking. And we have striven hard to maintain this ranking, and we are sure that the investors that have embraced us are also our biggest ambassadors.
Okay.
One of the biggest investments in Nigeria today is the steel mill in Kujeni, in Kagarko local government area. We have not gotten Jakarta steel to work since 1976. this still
Well, that's a bit
the
longer than a
education
minute, isn't it?
experience.
But
It is
I apologize
very
for
nice.
interrupting
Yes.
you because I know you want to talk about that, but sadly we're out of time. Muyiwa Adekeye, spokesman for the governor of Kaduna State, thank you very much.